Many thanks to fellow Extraction Squad, Clash of the servers, Sgt. Pepper's servers, Sea of Doors Cloud, Dallas, the Struggle Community, the Karma Crew servers, Dots, Designful, and Friendly a DayZ podcast for making this video possible. DayZ is an absolutely brutal mistress to new players that will offer no hand-holding and will spank you very hard for every little tiny mistake that you make. But once you understand the core survival mechanics of the game, you will then understand why so many players come back for more of that sweet punishment. So I'm going to show you the best possible way to learn DayZ quickly and help me survive better than the rich person on Epstein's client list. Keeping yourself not dead in DayZ is as simple as learning the UI, as most beginners die from not understanding how these 5 stats work together, which are thirst, hunger, temperature, blood level, and health. Hunger or thirst being red will drain your health stat slowly, and so does being dark blue temperature icon here, where the blood stat is independent from health, but it can still kill you if your blood level becomes too low. Having a high hunger and thirst stat will regenerate your blood faster, whereas having high blood stat will regenerate your health faster. So these 4 stats, they work together and will even provide protection from common sicknesses the higher that they are. So all you really need to do to maintain these 4 stats is to have food and water. Food is found at designated spawn points inside buildings like houses, sheds and stores shown here, with some canned food requiring a tool to open, such as a knife, screwdriver or even a freaking crowbar. Just combine the two and you'll be able to eat it if you put the food directly into your hands. The best place to get water is from wells, which can be found in most towns and villages, with the button you need to press and hold being displayed on screen when you look at it. All other controls can be found in the in-game menu, but you can pause the video here to see the most important controls on all platforms, which is where you'll also find the button to open your inventory, which you'll be doing a lot, where the items you pick up get stored. Some of the items you find around the world might be clothing items, and this affects the 5th stat and the final stat we need to talk about, which is temperature, and is increased or decreased by the clothing that you wear and how dry that clothing is too. The higher the installation value on the piece of clothing, the more it will increase your temperature. Now, different clothing items in DayZ can attach to different body parts such as pants, backpacks and vests, and they provide you with inventory slots like this, with how much you can carry being based on the number of inventory slots that you have in your clothing. So your clothing determines how much you can carry, but the more you carry, the less maximum stamina you will have for sprinting, jumping and melee combat. To get loot like food and weapons, you will need to search structures around villages and towns, which is exactly where the devious devs have placed Infected to kill you. When alerted, Infected will scream as loud as a Karen in McDonald's and will attack you like you're the manager, removing some of your dignity and health, ruining your clothing so that it no longer protects you from the cold, and potentially giving you bleeds, which will slowly drain your blood level over time. Stopping a bleed can be done with rags, bandages or a sewing kit, but has a 40% chance to give you the deadly wound infection sickness if the item is not disinfected. If you don't see the disinfected tag, you have a 40% chance to get a deadly disease that will kill you, which can be applied to these items with iodine, disinfectant or medical alcohol, with bandages, these ones here, which you should spawn with, being disinfected by default. To avoid bleeds altogether though, getting good at blocking infected attacks is absolutely essential for a DayZ player, as it makes you immune to all of their damage effects as long as you are facing them and you're blocking, which can be done by holding these buttons and moving backwards, but you can only block with your fists, a melee weapon or a one-handed item in your hands, which is not a firearm. After the second attack is performed by the infected, you have time to hit back once, with repeating this process being the safest way to kill a lone infected without taking any damage at all. Now, doing heavy attacks, which are done by holding the sprint button while attacking, will stun the infected and will allow you to kill them faster with a chain of attacks, but heavy attacks require a lot of stamina and can't be performed if your stamina is too low, so sticking to normal attacks while you learn the ropes is highly recommended. I also recommend not fighting more than one infected at a time, so if you alert too many, it's best to either sprint away or trap them inside a building, or better yet, get yourself inside of a building until they are no longer alerted to your presence, which takes a couple of minutes if they can't see or hear you. Now, killing an infected will reward you with loot when they die, but it's still better to avoid fighting them altogether by not alerting them at all, as simply looting structures is much better for risk versus reward. To not alert them then, crouch sprinting is the best method when it comes to speedy stealth movement, which will greatly reduce how far away they can see and hear you, with all infected in DayZ having this Metal Gear Solid cone of vision attached to their head, with their vision being their strongest sense. If you do need to fight though, do not use a firearm unless you absolutely have no choice, as all infected within 100 meters will insta-lock onto you, and you will probably make your situation worse, and players can hear gunshots thousands of meters away, with other players in DayZ being your biggest threat by far. As a new player then, avoid player-to-player combat if possible by just running away or trying to communicate over voice chat that you're friendly and you're just trying to learn the game. They might give you supplies, or better yet, they might give you their knowledge of vital survival skills. The biggest difference in skill level between a new DayZ player and a pro Giga Chad that's been playing for years are the survival skills that you know, such as not drinking from ponds and rivers because it would give you cholera, not eating rotten or burnt food because it would give you food poisoning, and curing your sicknesses early, as all sicknesses in DayZ will get worse the longer you ignore them. For maximum retention, these skills are best learned from just playing the game and trying to understand why you died, slowly improving as you die over and over again. It is slow, but if you do want to speed up this process with a little less retention, try to group up with another player that can teach you the do's and don'ts as you go, watch beginner guides and tip videos, or join a Discord community server for PC, PlayStation or Xbox, as most DayZ communities are extremely welcoming to new players, unlike a lot of other games. As for the survival skills that I can teach you, here are some essential survival skills to help you manage these 5 stats and to stop you getting sick so often. Water containers that you find in the world, such as bottles, canteens or the cooking pot, do not contain clean water. You need to empty it out, find a well and then fill it with clean water. These wells are found in most villages and towns, and if you're struggling to find one, they can be found using a map tool such as I Survive. To find out where you are, you need to first find one of these signs that is at the town or village road entrance and comparing it to the names on the map and then discovering where you are based on that. Then toggle the water pump icon to see where the water pumps are in that town. Canned food is the best early game food item, but what you open it with determines how much you're going to spill and therefore how much you can get from it, with sharper tools like knives and screwdrivers giving you a higher percentage compared to using blunt tools such as pipe wrenches and sledgehammers. Finding fruit under fruit trees is the next best option, but don't eat the rotten ones as you'll get food poisoning and vomit constantly. Plum trees, apple trees and pear trees have unique textures on them which spawn more fruit the longer you're in the area or other players are in the area, so looting areas near trees, then looting the trees after about 5 minutes or so is a good technique to get some fruit. Killing chickens is the next best option, which is possible with your bare fist, but you will need a sharp tool to skin them to get that KFC meat. Doing so without gloves will give you bloody hands, which you need to clean in any water source to avoid getting sick when you're using your hands to consume items. The raw meat you get from chickens will also make you sick. Yes, DayZ wants to kill you, which is best done by using an indoor fireplace to cook it. So gather some sticks, place it in the fireplace and add some kindling such as one rag, a piece of paper or bark that you can cut from a tree with a tool. And then you need a way to light this fire, which can be done by combining a small wooden stick with bark and then creating a hand drill that way, or you can use a flare, lighter or dry matches. Once you get that fire going, attach the meat to the fireplace the same way you did with the sticks, and when it changes colour, take it out and wait for it to cool down before eating. Be aware that consuming too much water or food will make you vomit though, with this icon indicating what you're eating or drinking is going to make you vomit soon if you continue to eat or drink it. Fireplaces are also the best way to warm up in DayZ, so to raise your temperature stat if it's too low, and it can be built and lit outside if needed if it's not too windy or it's currently raining, by simply combining small sticks with kindling and placing it on the floor, and you got yourself a fireplace. Well done. If you need to cool down though, travel in the rain or go into water to get your clothes wet, because this will make you colder. But if you need to warm up, place the clothing in your hands to squeeze the water out of it with your gamer strength if that clothing is wet, and if it can be wrung out to begin with, which can be done until clothing becomes damp. But if you have a fireplace, you can dry clothes completely by placing those clothes near the fire and waiting a hot minute. Being critically low on blood or taking any form of damage in DayZ will increase your hidden shock stat. You can't see this stat, but it is working in the background. It will make you go unconscious for a short time if your shock stat goes high enough. Your current shock level is shown by these black borders on the screen, so if you have these big black borders around the outside of the screen, avoid taking damage by running away from combat, as your shock level would decrease on its own after 1 second of not taking damage. The best way to increase your blood level is by having yellow or higher thirst and hunger, but if your thirst or hunger is red, it means you will not regenerate any blood at all. The lower your blood, the slower your health will regenerate, and the lower your health, the slower you will move, with extremely low health stopping you from climbing too. If you're not in combat and you have a down arrow underneath your health stat, your thirst, hunger or temperature stat may be too low, or you might have a sickness that is currently draining your health in the background, with this cheat sheet here displaying all symptoms and cures for sicknesses in DayZ. If you are sick, you will know about it because this sickness icon will be displayed down here, which in all cases needs to be treated before it gets worse, and in most cases you need medicine to cure this to make it go away. Best found inside blue medic buildings, these yellow tents, or inside hospitals, but medical infected like these can have medicine too. Consuming medicine displays a pill icon that will slowly remove your sickness from your character if you are taking the correct medicine for the sickness that you currently have. The cheat sheet is your friend in this case, so if you are taking the correct medicine, wait for this pill icon to disappear first before taking medicine again, as you can't cure sicknesses faster by just chugging a load of medicine into your face. Inspect medicine with the R3 button on console or the middle mouse button on PC to get a description of what the medicine is and what it can cure too, or give you an outline of what it can potentially cure. And in general, while learning DayZ, inspect every item you come across to understand how it can benefit you, as most items will be useful to your survival in some way, with those items being found in villages and towns. So while you learn the basics of DayZ, stick to villages and towns which are connected to roads. So roads, villages and towns, these are the only areas you should be trying to learn the game until you become comfortable maintaining these 5 stats, curing any sickness that you get, and fending off infected attacks without seeing the "you are dead" screen. You will see this screen a lot though, which is perfectly normal, especially if you're learning the game, because DayZ, this is very important to know, DayZ is not about winning, it's about learning how to lose better, with some lessons ending with your life, most lives teaching you something new, and every life being some sort of story that is uniquely yours. So keep pressing respawn, it's not something to be ashamed of, keep dying those stupid deaths, everybody does, and keep trying to understand why so many players love DayZ. From my perspective, it's a brutal, beautiful cycle of failure, growth, and absolute chaos that no other survival game has come close to, and many other games have tried. For the mentally scarred and hardened ones that know exactly what I'm yammering about, please do share your survival skills below to help the newer players that are entering DayZ. And if you want to see an advanced beginner's guide, like this video and share it with a freshie, as I've got a lot more to teach on this topic. But this video alone will get you off to a very good start. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.